Alright people, today I am going to be showing you how to create a calligram using the letters that make up whatever object you're using. So this is just one way to do a calligram. We're just going to do this as a practice and an exercise to start thinking outside of the box with letters, thinking about letters as shapes and tools to create artworks with. So what you're going to do is in Google Classroom, you're going to go ahead and open up the assignment that was just posted today. And then you can go ahead and save that to your digital media folder. Now in that digital media folder, you're going to make a new folder called Calligram activity, and then in there you're going to go ahead and save just this JPEG of Megaphone the cat. And then once you have that saved onto your desktop, you can go ahead and do a right click. Then if you go to open with an Adobe Illustrator, it's going to go ahead and open that file for you. Okay, so then once you're in Illustrator, you can take your selection tool and remember to hit shift. We're going to size Megaphone, our Sweet Cat Megaphone, up, make it, a decent size, just so that when you're working with it, you're good to go. And then you're going to go ahead and pull up your text tool, and then with caps lock on, I want you to spell out cat. Go ahead and highlight that. Make it, nice and big. You can even make it bigger by hitting your shift. We don't want to distort our letters quite yet. And then go ahead and move that down. Next thing, you are going to go ahead and create another text box. And then this time I want you to just write cat, but you're going to keep it lowercase. So turn off that caps lock, lowercase, and then we can go ahead and size this one up as well. It doesn't really matter if they're the same size because we're going to be resizing them anyway, but it's good to start with them big so you can just really see those nice shapes very clearly. Over here, it doesn't matter that everything's in the same layer because it's going to keep all of them separate as separate pathways. So what's going to happen there is eventually we will delete the layer with the cat on it. If you want to go ahead, if you look over here, if you don't want to be bothered with accidentally grabbing the cat layer, you can go ahead and toggle on your lock by clicking this box right here. I'm going to go ahead and click that, and then as you go and as you want to check your work, you can of course hit this little eye icon, and then it will make the cat disappear, but we're not quite there yet. My window looks like it reset, so if you're not in Workspace, Essential Classics, go ahead and switch to that. That's going to give you just a lot more information to work with, like this up here. And then let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to use the letters of the word cat, both uppercase and lowercase, to go ahead and start to create my own cat icon. So here's an example of one that I have started to work on. This was the one that we started in class. If I go back into my layers, are looking weird in this window. If I go over here and turn this off, I can see that that's what I have so far. But we're going to go ahead and just bring it back to the beginning here. So first things first, I need to select one of my layers. I need to go down to the bottom of this properties window. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit create outlines. And then if I go to my direct select tool, which is also A if you're using hotkeys, it's then going to show you all of the anchor points of these letters. Also, when you do this, it should separate the text for you. So if I just click on one letter at a time, it will then let me separate the letters. This is, when you hit create outline, what is happening is it's telling Illustrator that you no longer want to be utilizing these letters as text. You want to start utilizing them as objects or as shapes. So now I can't go back, I can't really type anything out or change this because Illustrator now sees these as just shapes that can be messed with. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do that over here to this one as well. Scroll down, create outline. If I go over here, I can see that. I can click one at a time, separate these things. Now, for the most part, we're going to leave these letters alone up here because this is kind of going to be like our inventory. And when I need one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on whatever that letter is, and then I can go ahead and hit Command C and then Command V, and that is my copy paste. Same thing as like if you were doing it on your Chromebooks. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go into my regular selection tool, so that's V on the keyboard if I'm using hotkeys, and I'm gonna go ahead and I don't really need to manipulate this. I'm going to use the C to kind of create the cat's muzzle. Kind of fits around that shape pretty well. I can go ahead and maybe make it a little touch smaller. Then from there, I'm gonna do this a little bit different than our last, the one we did in class together. So if I'm not following every single step, it's just because I'm trying to switch it up, give you some different ideas for when you do it yourself. I'm gonna take my A, and then I'm gonna go ahead and flip this. You could also go ahead and flip it by going up to Object Transform, and then you could go Reflect. I could reflect it horizontally. Of course, you can also size things, but just for quick things like that, that's helpful. And then I'm gonna go ahead and really manipulate this A. I'm gonna size it down, make it really small. And then that can be my nose. Then I'm gonna start to think about what to do with the mouth. So for the mouth, I'm gonna go ahead and take my lowercase t, I almost said lowercase a, not my a. And see, I just grabbed an anchor point there, so you wanna make sure you don't do that. And then I'm gonna go ahead, size this down real small. I can just do that with the regular selection tool. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take this, Command C, Command V. Now I have my other one. And then I'm gonna go Object Transform, Reflect, and change it to vertical, because I'm trying to flip it on its vertical axes. All right, and now I wanna get rid of these little pieces of the T here. So in order to do that, I'm gonna go ahead back to my direct select, which will let me control things like my anchor points. And I'm gonna go ahead and just start deleting some of my anchor points. So I'm gonna go ahead, click on this one, delete it. Make sure you hit your specific anchor points so that you're not losing, important information. And then I'm gonna go ahead and select this, raise that up. I'm gonna line it up better than that. Command Z if you do something and you're like, wait, that's not what I meant to do. And then I'm gonna pull down these anchor points for my A so that I don't have this kind of weird gap. Like if I click off, like see this area here, not loving that. I wanna make this kind of as, as seamless as possible. So I'm gonna bring this guy over, go back to direct select, pull up my anchor points on my A, and then bring those down. All right, and then if I click off, I can kind of check out my work here, and I think that looks really nice. So I can go ahead and zoom out. There is my cat's like muzzle and nose. I'm gonna go ahead, oh shoot, I didn't duplicate my T. I can always bring that back. If you happen to do that, you can always just go ahead and type back a T and no problem. And then next thing, I'm gonna take my A, and I'm going to go ahead, duplicate that. And I'm gonna make those my eyeballs. And then you're just gonna keep on going until you kind of have your whole cat designed out. You know, you can do this a number of different ways. There's no like one way to do this. For the eye, I can go ahead and copy paste this, and then I'll just go ahead and flip. And then even if you wanted to make it the cat's like pupils look like filled in completely, I could even isolate this middle portion. Like if I wanted to delete some of these, I could go in and do that. And then I could do like manipulate some of my handles. I could pull up my pen tool and make a new anchor point if I wanted to. And kind of manipulate things that way. And that could also be interesting as well. Go back to my direct select. Right, and maybe that kind of suits your design a little bit better. But all things that you can do, all different ways. Again, flipping things, you can make it really easy on yourself by, you know, copying and pasting something and then just flipping it rather than, you know, dealing with doing it by hands. But transform, you could rotate things, change this to like 180. Or of course, reflect works well too. You're not going to see a difference with the vertical, but horizontal. And, you know, just keep going until you're finished and until you have as much of a cat in your design as possible. And that's going to be the plan for today. All right. Good luck to you. And I can't wait to see your Megaphones the cat.